Family of lawyers, what's the most satisfying case you ever closed? My wife and I inherited my grandmother's house, a beautiful old Victorian that was supposed to be our fresh start. Instead, it was a wreck. My cousins, Mark and Sarah, who lived nearby and were supposed to be caretakers, told us it was just age. The place is falling apart, Mark said, shaking his head with fake sympathy. Grandma let it go. They'd even sent us photos over the years showing leaks and cracks. Something felt off. The damage seemed too specific, too targeted. The expensive silverware was gone, replaced with cheap stainless steel. A priceless grandfather clock was missing, its outline still visible in the faded wallpaper. They claimed Grandma sold them to pay for repairs. My wife, a paralegal, started looking at the house's financial records. Nothing made sense. The repair invoices they provided were from companies that didn't exist. My job was to sort through Grandma's personal effects. I spent weeks in the dusty attic, going through boxes of old letters and photo albums. I was about to give up when I found a small, locked wooden box tucked away in a forgotten trunk. The key was long gone. Frustrated, I almost threw it out, but then I remembered my grandma used to hide spare keys in the spines of old books. I spent the next 2 days carefully checking every single book in her library. Finally, inside a worn copy of Pride and Prejudice, I found a tiny brass key. Inside the box wasn't jewelry or money. It was a set of small, leather-bound diaries and a collection of neatly labeled audio cassettes. My grandmother had documented everything. For the last 5 years of her life, she recorded her phone calls with Mark and Sarah. She wrote down every time they took an item, for safekeeping, they'd said. She even detailed how they staged the damage, like the time Mark accidentally knocked over a vase to ruin an antique rug, then sold the undamaged rug a week later. The final diary entry was heartbreaking. It said, "I know what they are doing, I'm too old to fight them, but one day someone will find this. The truth is in the house." We called a family meeting. Mark and Sarah walked in smiling, expecting to finalize the estate sale. I didn't say a word. I just placed a small cassette player on the dining room table and pressed play. My grandmother's voice filled the silent room, clear as day, describing how Sarah had sold her wedding ring. Mark lunged for the player, but my wife was already on the phone with the police. The fallout was immediate and total. They were charged with felony elder fraud and theft. Their inheritance was voided, and the court ordered them to pay back the value of every stolen item. They lost everything. My wife and I used that money to restore the house, exactly the way my grandmother would have wanted.